My dear friends, welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 SDK tutorial. And in this video, I want to show you how to add your own custom objects to your project and then to your scenery in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's start by creating room for our object in the project. You can create a new project, or if you have already one, you can load one in your project editor. This is the one that we have created in the very first tutorial for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. You can open it by Open Project and selecting the Project XML. The Project XML is at the root of your project folder. So let's open it, and this is the name of your project, and this is the BGL asset group where you place object. Now we need to add another asset group to host our model. So we can click on the project, view project inspector, and this is the project inspector. Right here we have a button that we can use to add an asset group. The asset group will be a custom type. I'm gonna press next, and the type of our asset group is gonna be a model library, model lib. We can give the model lib the name we want, so Marvelous Models. You can give the name you want, guys. I'm gonna press create. In our project, we have a model library to host our models. The project is ready, and now we need the tools to create our models. In this case, we will use two tools, a 3D object editor, and the name is Blender, and a plugin for Blender that will allow us to export the model from Blender to a format that the game can read and convert. This plugin is available in the SDK core. You can download the SDK core by clicking on Help, SDK Install Core. I have unzipped the SDK core. Now I'm gonna double click on the installer. I'm gonna press next. I have already installed this, but you will have to press next till the end, and please don't change installation folder. Once you have done, you're gonna have in your C drive a folder called MSFS 2024 SDK. You can install it alongside the MFS 2020 SDK, it's not a problem. And inside the tools, Blender add-ons, you will have a folder that will need to copy into the Blender installation folder. So now let's install the right version of Blender. Now we have to Google for the Blender LTS long-term support, and we're gonna install the Blender 3.6 long-term support that is compatible with the Asobo plugin. You're gonna click on download and download either the installer or the Windows Portable. Windows Portable is really convenient because you can always donate something to Blender, but it's a free software, and you can save it everywhere on your computer, using on the computer of your girlfriend, taking it everywhere you want. And this doesn't mess with your system, and this is the ones I recommend. I always offer a version of the portable version of Blender, including the Asobo plugin already configured on my drive, and is linked in this tutorial too. So let's unzip it and add the Microsoft plugin. Now what we have to do is copy this folder, IOCNG-LTF2 MFS 2024, Ctrl-C, in the Blender installation folder. So it's Blender Foundation 3.6 and 3.6 again, and scripts, add-ons, and here are all the add-ons of Blender, and I'm gonna copy it. I already have copied it, and I have two in the Blender installation folder, the old Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 add-ons. They can both live here, but you must have only one at a time enabled. Okay, so now let's start Blender, and I'm gonna double click on the Blender launcher. And if you have installed the version I'm providing, you will be greeted with this screen with in the collection MFS 24_load0. Otherwise, in a normal installation, you will be greeted by the cube and a camera, and we don't need the camera, and this kind of light that we don't need. Now we need to enable the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 plugin. And to do that, we go to Edit, Preferences, and we go to Add-ons, and we're gonna type here Microsoft, and we're gonna enable the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 extension. This will add a new menu in our workspace, and if we press the N key on our keyboard, and like November, we're gonna have a new menu here, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 tools. Let's configure the tools with the most used options, and now we go into the settings. In the texture, we're gonna write /texture. We're gonna include punctual lights, transform mesh, we're gonna use apply modifiers, and down to animation, we're gonna use NLA tracks. Okay, cool. I don't want this object in my scene because I want an empty scene when I start Blender, and the collection MSFS 2024 LOD. So I know that I'm using MFS 2024. I'm gonna save this as a startup file. So every time I load a new Blender scene, my startup file is configured. Okay, let's create our first object. We're gonna start by adding the cube on the screen. I'm gonna scale it because I want to create an hangar. I'm moving it on the screen. This is really not a modeling course. So let's create the opening of the hangar with some bevel here, the roof of the hangar there. Remove those faces because we don't need them. Okay, so let's now create a roof in this position. Okay, X-ray is that. Okay, pretty strange hangar, isn't it? Material, and now let's add some let's apply all transforms, and let's add a solidify to it, 0.1. Okay, cool. Now this is our first hangar, and remember, when you are creating an object for Microsoft Flight Simulator, always to apply your transform by pressing Ctrl A and apply all transforms, so it resets the scale and the location and the rotation of your object. So we have a single mesh. This is the single mesh, the cube. So let's now add some materials to it, and go to material mode, creating a new material, and I'm gonna go down in the MFS 2024 material properties, and I'm gonna add a standard material. The standard material creates crazy complicated nodes in the shader that you don't have to touch. Please don't touch the nodes here. No texture, vector coordinates, texture coordinates, transform, nothing like that. Don't touch the node, please. Okay, back to our material. We need to assign texture, so a texture for the albedo. Okay, this texture for the color. In the occlusion roughness metal, I need to add a special composite texture. Here it is. And in the normal GL. Okay, I want to add the basic unwrapping. It is best to add a cube projection for this kind of object, so I'll scale it. Okay, cool. And then just for demo, for the roof, I'm gonna create a new material. This is gonna be an MFS standard materials again. I have the roof selected. I'm gonna assign it to the roof. And now the object is basically a very basic hanger. And we're gonna call it basic hanger. And this is the load 0, the most complicated load that we have. If you want to have more LOD, you can duplicate your collection and call this LOD 1. And basically this LOD needs to be less complicated than the one that we have made before. So maybe removing the bevel is the right choice in this case. In fact, the number of triangles has been reduced. Okay, very basic tutorial, come on guys. And we will enable to export our object. We will enable back all our collection, and by pressing the N on your keyboard. I always use group by collection, and always remember to click on reload LODs. What I have done? Okay, it must be uppercase. One. Okay, group by collection. Always clicking reload LODs, and the group by collection it will put in the same object, in the same GLTF. The GLTF is the file that we are gonna export. It will put in the same object both the lot 0 and all the lots based on the name of the object. Okay, so we're gonna click this to export all of the LODs. We're gonna click on generate XML, and where are we gonna export this? In our model library. So I'm gonna reload the project. Okay, and this is our model library, and if you remember, we have created it using the project inspector. I'm gonna save it here. I use to save my model. Each model has its own sub folder into the model library. So this will be basic hanger. This one will be my export folder. Okay, everything should be ready. Texture goes in the .texture, and we're gonna click on export. Okay, cool. So let's see if the model got exported correctly. So it is in our test project tutorial, package sources, scenery, test 2044, marvelous models, and now we have the basic hanger, and we'll have a load 0, both bin and GLTF, and a load 1, both bin and GLTF. We will have another file that is an XML, and this one describes the content of our model. In the load 0, we have load 0, and in the second line of the load, we have load 1. Cool. Now, a new texture folder is created for our model library. You will have a single texture folder for each model library. And inside the texture folder, we will have our texture exported from Blender in this folder, and for each texture we will have in 2024 an XML file. So you need this XML file for each texture. Okay, cool. Now I see that 2024 that was in this case open in the background is blinking, so it must have doing something. So let's open the console and look. The game has automatically loaded our sources from the project, and basically is converting them to usable objects. So let's now see if our object is ready. So we're gonna load a flight. Okay, this was the scenery when we have last edited it. We're gonna load our scenery, so I'm gonna click on placement, inspector, load in editor. Okay, I don't need the material now. I'm gonna go to objects and I'm gonna search among all our objects for our basic hangar, and it's already there. Cool. Now we're gonna add it to the scene and it's our hangar ready. Our first object. And now this is our first hangar, PBR texture. Okay, really cool. We can save our project. We can save our scenery by clicking on Save Scenery. What if we want to add some more models to our library? Well, we already have the library, so we just need to load Blender and to create a new model. And I'm saving I'm saving the hangar in the folder in my model library. Basic hangar. Okay, let's create a new model. Let's add a sign to our hangar. And to be usable, that needs to be converted to a mesh. And we're gonna solidify this to give him some thickness. Okay, great. And item, always remember to apply all transform. So scale is 1 and apply a new MSFS standard material. Okay, and this is hangar sign. I don't want to do lots for this. So I'm gonna click reload LODs, group by collection, and it's gonna take the hangar sign, generate XML, and I want it to be in my model library, a new folder, hangar sign. Okay, accept and export. Okay, the game is unresponsive because maybe it's loading our sign. Fact. What is the name of my package? I don't remember. It was test. Okay, I remember that the name was test, and here it is, my hangar sign, and I can add it directly to the game. Okay, here. So it is really not mandatory to have Blender and the game open at the same time, doing 3D models at the same time, because yeah, you need really to concentrate when you do 3D models, and you of course don't want to waste precious energy and watts from your GPU and CPU being sucked from the game. So you can obviously work with the game closed. Or you can you may want to import a model without live reloading it into the game, because the live reloading freezes the game, and you can disable the live reload by going to options and live asset reloading. So let's create a simple object in Blender to demonstrate this. Okay, nice donut. Let's export this. Donut. Okay, I'm gonna click export, and as you can see, the game is still responsive. And if we go to object test, we can see our donut. So how to load assets without live asset reloading? Simply by building the project. Okay, so it sees the donut, and in fact the donut is appeared here into our object, and that's the donut. Okay, so thank you for watching. this is the end by today. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and please subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the Discord so you can find a lot of people that can help you during development. It's easier than helping you in YouTube comments. And next video, don't know when, I will do the promised how to do LODs, techniques, and all the stuff. See you soon. Bye bye.